Hidden within the deeper lore of the Jurassic World canon, there exists a secret Biosyn paper regarding a certain prehistoric animal that has been terrorizing the facility. The paper can only be found within the Dino Tracker website, but gives a pretty interesting look into what was going on behind the scenes of the genetics company. To quote the document, "Maintenance tunnel concerns. Hi, redacted. In response to your concerns regarding worker complaints, I need to reiterate the points I made before you dismissed them in our meeting dated redacted. I have found it increasingly difficult to find engineers willing to work in the tunnels. This is impacting regular maintenance on the electrical ducting and AC units that feed directly into the research laboratories, and have been causing the rolling blackouts we've been experiencing lately. I'm not one for ghost stories, but I know my work crews, and when they come back to me about things moving in the dark, and screams coming from the derelict tunnels, I'm sure as hell gonna listen to them. Now, Redacted's gone missing. He never clocked out after his shift, and nobody has seen him since Wednesday. Maybe we punched through into their caves when we blasted away some rock, or they found a way out that we missed, but Redacted. I'm telling you, there's one of them down there. As of now, I want an armed guard with every crew that goes any further than sub-level 2, and no more signal worker callouts. We only ever work in groups of 2 from now on. I know this doesn't fit in with Redacted's utopian vision he likes to put forward to the investors, but this is putting good, hardworking folks in danger, and we need to stop it before it spirals out of control. Regards, Redacted." Jurassic World Dominion featured the introduction of one of the franchise's most elusive prehistoric creatures to date. Dimetrodon, a Permian animal shown to dwell in a dense cave area in the film, has been in and out of the series' wider promotional material ever since the early 90s, with plans of the monstrous-looking synapsid showing up in video games and other expansive material. The 6th film in the Jurassic series finally canonized it in a pretty big way, but it also left the door open to one seriously eerie idea that I don't see too many people talking about at all. An amber mine that Biosyn uses to collect samples for genetic engineering is present in Jurassic World Dominion. It's a place where the train system actually goes through in the movie, meaning that it was easily accessible this way with someone simply getting onto a transport and being taken there in a short period of time. But the animals that inhabit the mines are never really pushed back or stopped from taking them over in the film, which leads many people to wonder what exactly is going on here, especially due to the fact that human remains can be seen in the area, despite the train still having access open to it. Now in Dominion, Dodson actually uses his knowledge of the amber mines being Dimetrodon territory to his advantage by stopping the train near to where the animals reside. It's unclear why the animals are allowed to be there and why no one has stopped them at this given point in the timeline, especially since the movie reveals that every animal in the valley has a special chip inside their brain that makes them controllable through electronic impulses. So if Biosyn wanted them out of there, they could do so easily via that chip and without any intervention from man. But these animals are for some reason allowed to overrun the mines. Dodson of course has the idea that leading Dr. Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler into the mines would basically get rid of them once the Dimetrodons locate the intruders and make short work of the humans, which could even be why these human remains are so prevalent in that area despite it being a necessary workplace. I don't want to jump to any conclusions, but going off of what Dodson planned to do in the actual movie, I think it's a safe theory to suggest that he may have tried this sort of thing before, and may have even gotten away with it. I think it would have been a cool plot point in the movie had they actually suggested that someone found out about Biosyn's locust scheme earlier and he went missing, only to see this as a final resting place and big reveal in the movie. But the final cut leaves things much more ambiguous and open to interpretation. But what's the big deal with this particular type of creature in the first place? What's so special about the Dimetrodon? Well, like I stated before, this animal isn't actually a dinosaur at all. In fact, it isn't even something that existed with most of the dinosaurs from the Triassic to Cretaceous periods. The creature hails from a time before the dinosaurs called the Permian, and is actually one of the most popular animals from its day, walking on 4 legs and possessing a colossally iconic sail. Dimetrodon was a creature that would have hunted other animals down as prey when it lived as apex predator, and the usage of it as a monstrous end for people snooping around in Biosyn's business is pretty novel, to say the least. Michael Klayton himself actually introduced Dodson as a murderous person in the Jurassic Park books, where he attempts to throw Sarah Harding overboard in order to kill her before they even reach Site B in the Lost World, and even lets loose an outbreak of rabies to people unsuspecting in Chile. So the adaptation of this man into a cold-hearted killer is actually welcome in my book as far as Jurassic Park source material goes. Whether or not he's done this once or even on a regular basis in the film canon is still up in the air, but it is a pretty crazy thing to think about. As far as the movies go, Dimetrodon made its first real appearance in the film series with 2018's Fallen Kingdom, the movie that featured the reveal of Benjamin Lockwood, John Hammond's estranged business partner, based on the Norman Atherton character from Michael Crichton's first novel. This man had an illustrious museum set up in his home, and it featured the statues of several different species of dinosaur, and one prehistoric creature that he had on display happened to be Dimetrodon, which this animal is now believed to be something of a precursor to mammals. Not exactly a precursor though, and it was even called at one point in time a, quote, mammal-like reptile. Now, the reason I bring this statue up, the Dimetrodon in general, is because at the time in which Fallen Kingdom was released, it was believed by many that these weren't actually statues in the movie, and that they could actually be the taxidermied bodies of early InGen clones that never made it into Jurassic Park. That, of course, turned out to not be the case, but the design of the Dimetrodon in Fallen Kingdom is extremely similar to what we see in the next movie. It's not exact, but it's not exactly too different, which is something that I think needs to be taken into consideration when you factor in Benjamin Lockwood's known history with InGen. Biosyn has been involved with that company for a very long time, so there might be something going on there. Now, in truth, the entire concept of killing Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, and Maisie Lockwood this way in Dominion came off as kind of silly in the final version, and I don't really think the animals posed a very dangerous or intimidating threat at all in the film. However, the idea and potential for them to be terrifying is easy to see on paper, and it really comes down to the kind of tone and movie Dominion wanted to present itself as. I still have a lot of questions about the logistics of what's going on here, particularly with the brain chip being in every animal in the Biosyn Valley. If the Dimetrodons were loose in the amber mines and the company needed to go into the mines to get amber, then how does any of this even work? And on an even more serious scale, if every animal in Biosyn Valley has this brain chip in it to begin with, what's the point of the aerial deterrence system in the first place? Why is that needed if the brain chips work? Why don't the Dilophosaurs respond to the chips and end up in the tunnels to kill Dodson at the end of the movie? And why doesn't anyone have a problem with Pyroraptors and Dimetrodons freely roaming areas of man-made spaces that normal operations would be carried out at in the Biosyn research base under everyday life? These are questions that I don't really know how they were overlooked in Dominion, but the inclination of this Dimetrodon trap in the movie does open the door for some more sinister things going on here compared to what the film leads many people to believe. At the end of the day, the amber mines of Biosyn Valley have been overrun by Dimetrodons in the film. The company could lure them out easily, but they choose not to, and the animals have killed before. I'm not sure what exactly is going on here, like I said, and I will admit it was more than likely, in my opinion, stuff that the writers didn't pay close attention to, especially when you take the other security systems and dinosaur positions in the movie with the whole brain chip stuff going into consideration. But the idea of Biosyn using the animals to do wild things like getting rid of snooping people is a novel one, and it's something that I wish was showcased further in the film. Anyways, guys, these are all just my thoughts on the creepy scene with the Dimetrodons in the amber mines. It was played for laughs, and they even had Alan Grant scream like a girl, but the ideas on paper there, had this been treated more like The Lost World or even Jurassic Park 3, or really Fallen Kingdom or Jurassic World, this probably would have been one of the scarier moments in the film, especially if they had played up the idea that Dodson had killed people like this before. We don't really know what's going on here logistically speaking, but I do like a lot of the core ideas it has. And these are all just what I have to say about it. But whatever your own opinions, thoughts, and ideas on this scene and the deeper lore happen to be, I'd love to hear all about them in the comments down below. Now before I go, I want to thank everyone that's helped me build my channel over the years. I'd also like to thank every one of you guys who've watched my stuff. You've all been extremely cool to me. If you enjoyed the video, I'd appreciate a like and hope that you'll consider subscribing. God bless you all, Christ is King, see you guys in the next video, and as always, take it easy.